This is Ultimate Soccer with Soccer Steve.
Hey guys, welcome back in. We got some great news for you. We got Canadian news, we got world news, and we got a story to finish off as usual. Back to the real format that we love to play with. But first things first, Soccer Canada. Fairness and pay equity between the Canadian men's and the national team and the women's national team as well. Soccer Canada seems to think that they have a solution to the issues at hand. Still nothing decided upon. So we'll see what happens. But fair pay, equity, men and women getting paid the same. Do you think that that's the way it should be? Do you have an issue with that? Remembering that this channel is 94% men, 6% women. So girls, come on, let's have you. Let's have you. Make a comment. Come on. Women power. Make something out of this. But do the girls deserve the same pay as the men? Do the men deserve the same pay as the women? How are you looking at it? But that's the news right now. Soccer Canada is looking into fairness and pay equity between the two teams. I think it's a sign of the times. I don't know if equal pay is the right way to go or which is the right method. I think that compensation needs to be made to both teams. But I think a better way would be whatever the gate receipts, the attendances, then the players should get something from that. They should also get a wage from the association for playing for the country, also covering their hotels and their travel expenses, etc., etc., etc. They should never be out of pocket. We know that. But is it the right way to go? Equal pay between the men and the women. Let me know down below. Tell me what you're thinking, because I think that it's got something of a modern day theme to it. Is it correct? Is it not correct? You let me know. I want to know what you think about the fairness and the pay equity between the men and the women's national teams. Talking now friendly games for Team Canada, the men's team first. 2 friendly games coming up in September 23rd and 27th. They're both in Europe. I'm not a fan of that. I want to see something of a homegrown game. We need to attract people to come to Canada. 2026 World Cup is not that far away. It's only 4 years, yeah? So we need to get people used to coming to Canada to play us in big games. The 23rd, 27th in Europe, 2 games. Also, in November, we got a game coming as well, yet to be determined. But apparently, Soccer Canada would let you believe they are in the final stages of negotiating for a game in November. I wonder if that's going to be in Europe as well. I'd really hate to think it would be, because, I mean, you think 3 games back-to-back, September, November, and not one of those at home. Excuse me, but the Canadian fans deserve a game on home soil. Every other nation in the world plays on their home soil before they think of 3 games on the road. So I just hope that that 3rd game in November is on Canadian soil, so we can send the boys off on the plane from Canada with a real good backing and a great crowd. I'd like to see maybe, you bring a Brazil or maybe an Argentina, maybe bring Italy over to Canada for that final game. I mean, they're not going to the World Cup. Scotland's not going to the World Cup. They could come over too. You could even get the Ukraine to come over if you wish to, like a little bit of love for the yellow and the blue, if you're so inclined. But you know what? Let's have a game in Canada and not every game in Europe. And if you look at the games we played in Europe over the few years that have gone by, the last 20, you can think of Portugal, you can think of Scotland, you can think of Luxembourg, you can think of Malta, but you can't think of anything magic. Yes, we did have a game against Germany probably 20 years ago, but I'm just saying, we need to get people to come to Canada and play our games here. And to be quite frank with you, the National Federation needs to really pull their fingers out and get some quality opposition for this team. We need our team to get tested. We don't need to canter to the World Cup. We need to really get some tough opposition before we get there to bring that level up just before the World Cup, so we peak at the right time. Now, talking about World Cup, 2026 World Cup, I've come up with a theme for the 2026 World Cup. Let me know what you think about this. But there's 3 countries, Canada, Mexico, and the US, or Canada, US, Mexico, Mexico, US, Canada, whichever way you want to play it. But I've came up with a nice name for that 2026 World Cup, inclusive of all the 3 nations. And have a look. Canusico. Yeah, Canusico. Canada, US, Mexico, Canusico. I think it's a great name for the World Cup. Hey, tell me what you think down below. But 2026 World Cup, Canusico. And like I say, 3 friendlies coming to September in Europe. The third one coming in November. Final stages of negotiations. Where are we going to play? I don't want to play in Europe again. I want a home game. Probably Toronto or Vancouver. More likely Toronto. But let's face it, we need home games. Big time. Also, Canadian news, the CPL, I tell you what, Cavalry FC and Atletico Ottawa back on top now. 2 teams chasing each other, just a game between the two. Cavalry has a game in hand on Ottawa, but Atletico Ottawa and Cavalry play July 9th next game. So top 2 teams, first and second, CPL, the title's up for grabs. And halfway through the season, it looks like it's a 3-horse race, but this is a massive game. Ottawa taking on Cavalry at Ottawa Atletico's ground. A win for Ottawa puts them first. A win for Calgary puts them first. A tie keeps them even, I should say, not evil, but keeps them even. And at the end of the day, you've got to say Cavalry needs to get a result on the road. I've been impressed with Ottawa's form recently and also Cavalry's, but Ottawa's been bringing some great form. Another team that's been bringing great form in the CPL is Edmonton. FC Edmonton, 2 wins recently, climbing up the table. They're still bottom, but they're climbing up in the points. They're closing the gap between them and the rest of the runners. And you got to think, York FC or York United, ooh, you better watch out because you can't score goals. Is Edmonton going to jump above you? Are you going to be the bottom team? And there is no bad team in this league. The parity is really close. And Forge FC been faltering recently. If they keep losing the games 1-0 at home, it doesn't bode well for winning that title again. Right now, you're looking for Ottawa FC and Cavalry FC to be the 2 teams to start pushing. And don't forget, Pacific FC is right in the mix of things, but recently their form wasn't the greatest. But CPL, got to tell you, value for money. It's a great league building. 4th year in the gear. I tell you, it's a definite breath of fresh air. And down below, there's a story about FC Edmonton, the defunct Canadian soccer team out of Edmonton. That was what happened so often with professional soccer clubs in Canada. But this CPL is so professional, is so strong moving forward. And when you think about one game, I'll give you something here now. Cavalry FC, the last game I attended was the Battle of Alberta against Edmonton at Spruce Meadows. It was a 4,700 sellout. Their gate receipts to that game are over $2.2 million for one game. When you look at that number, you can now see that there is something growing with this league. And when you make $2.2 million at one game, you can literally pay your whole team for the season from one game. So it's a business plan that's moving forward. Not all the teams have the great gates or great attendance like Cavalry FC. I mean, face it, Edmonton struggled to get over 500. But when you look at the way this league is growing and the fan bases that are growing too, and the job that One Soccer is doing, it's definitely the healthiest, the best Canadian league I've ever seen in 30 years of covering soccer here in Canada. So, CPL, it's going to be an interesting season from start to finish. Edmonton's bottom, Cavalry and Ottawa are on top right now. It could all change so quickly, but big up to Edmonton for getting that second win. Let's see where they finish in the season. And as for the top of the league, it's going to be a 3-horse race. And if Forge can find some great form, it could be 4 horses racing to the end of the season. But right now, it looks like Cavalry and it looks like Ottawa are the 2 teams that are going to be there right at the end of the season. Now, world news on transfers. Jonathan David, nothing happened, nothing doing. It looks like he might be staying at Lille a little bit longer. If he stays there any longer, he'll probably stay there for the next season. Not a bad thing, because Lille is a place where he's a big fish in his little pond. If he goes to a big club in a big league, he'll be a little fish in a massive pond, whereby does he get exposed for not being quite ready at 22 to get into those top leagues? Would he be wiser to wait a couple of years, maybe 23, 24, then leave Lille? I think that's the best way to go. A couple of more years with the French league, banging in the goals, keep the form going, do number 1 with Canada as well, get them goals in the back of the net every time you can, and think he's now 21 goals in 32 games. Pretty close. But you got to say, keep banging in the goals, Jonathan, and things will happen for you. There's no doubt about it. Other players around the world, Pogba going to Juventus, got to say this much. Juventus are laughing their asses off at Manchester United because 6 years ago they sold Pogba to Manchester for 80 million. They get him back on a free transfer. 80 million to nothing. Yeah, Juventus is definitely smiling. Raheem Sterling going from Man City to Chelsea. I'm quite surprised how many players Man City is offloading. But Pep Guardiola knows what's top quality, and he knows your shelf life, and he knows when you've done as much as you can for his club. Maybe Chelsea are not getting the player they think they are. I'm not a massive fan of Sterling, by the way, but maybe you are. Let me know down below. Is that a good move for Chelsea to take Sterling on board? Or is it indeed great business again by Man City? Don't forget, Jesus was jettisoned a couple of days ago to Arsenal for 45 million. Pep Guardiola knows exactly what he's doing. North American news, Adams, the American midfielder, the USA American midfielder, has gone from, or is going to go from Red Bull Leipzig. They say Leipzig in Germany, East Germany, Leipzig. We say Leipzig, but they say Leipzig because I speak the Deutsch. But he's going to go from Leipzig to Leeds United in the Premier League. I think he should stay where he is. I think Leipzig is a far better fit for him. The EPL and Leeds, it's going to be a battle for relegation all season. I don't think you're going to see them like in the top six. Let's face it, they're going to have a tough season. Also going to be tough for Manchester United to prize away De Jong from Barcelona. Barcelona are saying, no thanks, not for sale, not today, not tomorrow, not any day. But Manchester United know this. If you put the right amount of money in front of Barcelona's noses and let them sniff the dollars, they'll sell De Jong. Why? Because they need money. Why? Because they've overspent for so many years. They put themselves in the hole where if you look recently, all the players that Barcelona are acquiring are on free transfers. That's not Barcelona style. You don't get quality on the free. You get quality when you pay. Barca's not paying. They need to sell De Jong to United, bring in maybe 70 million, 65 to 70 million pounds, and that should do the number. And finally, Ronaldo at Man United didn't turn up for the first day of training with boss Ten Hag. That didn't exactly please the boss, but the boss didn't exactly please Ronaldo, as Ronaldo wants to leave United, and Ten Hag is saying, you're not going anywhere. There's a clause in your contract. We're going to exercise the right to keep you at United for one more year. I think there's a good chance that Ronnie might be pissed off, might be pouting, might not be happy, but I think there's a great chance he will be at Manchester United this coming season. And as you notice behind me, you've probably seen that we've got a brand new logo. Let us know what you think about the new logo. Bruce Duncan, graphic artist, supplied us with the new artwork, got in touch with yours truly and said, listen, I've got some things I want you to look at. And he was really a lovely, lovely, lovely person to talk with. And we did a big conversation about where we want to take it and how we want to move with it. So right now we've got a brand new logo and we've got a brand new banner at the YouTube channel. You're going to see more of that as we progress on with this channel and also on the Ultimate Soccer Show online as well. So look for that to bleed across. And I tell you what, we're now resembling a soccer channel. That's what we wanted to do. That's what we're going to do. That's where we're moving with it now. And I think that if you see where we come from and as we make these changes moving forward, even with the sound, tonight's sound is different again. So you can see these little changes that we're making, but it's all to bring a better quality show. And that's what it's all about. And what I'll leave you with is this. Moving towards the Qatar World Cup, as we are, the best thing that I've lived in all this is the journey through qualifying with you. The journey through the political things with you. The journey we're on right now, going to the World Cup with you. It is one of the funniest things or the funniest things I've ever done. I love every minute of it. And I want to continue this with you. I need your comments down below for whatever topic you want to touch with me. But at the end of the day, this journey that we've taken together, we've come through all those crazy games in qualifying where at the start of qualifying, we're thinking, I don't know how this is going to go. But, you know, we've got some players. And that qualifying that we just went through off the back of the Gold Cup where we were robbed last year, but that qualifying that we've just gone through, it really has brought us all together. It's given us something we've never had before. We are walking with a smile on our face, even though we're kind of sort of in limbo right now with the recent political things. But remember, keep it positive, keep moving forward, because there's 3 games coming at the end of the year. There may be more. We're going to a World Cup. Other teams like Italy are nowhere near the World Cup. So when you look at the journey we've come on through CONCACAF qualifying and we've made it to the World Cup, we're going to go on that journey again and again and again. And over the next 10, 20 years, I don't see this ending. So we really have set ourselves up with something phenomenally where you and I will be talking and walking this route for a long time to come. So I ask you, tell your mates about this channel. Get in on it with everybody else. Promote it to anybody you can, and let's get up to the 1,000 as soon as possible, because, guys, we're making these changes. We're making the changes for all of our benefit, not just me, not just you, but definitely you. But we're making these changes to bring us up so we can start bringing great shows. And once we get to the 1,000 and we go live, guys, I'm telling you, there's so much more we can do. So at the end of the day, walk high, be happy, keep your mojo going for the Canadian national team. Don't worry about anything on the side. We've got a World Cup coming in a few months' time. And I tell you what, I think it is probably going to be the greatest experience that I've ever had with the national team. I'm really looking forward to it, more so than if I was watching England at a World Cup or Ireland at a World Cup, because those are my 2 basic bloodlines. But I'm looking forward so much to this World Cup coming through. So, guys, anything you want to hear about, let me know. Any topics I haven't touched, let me know. And look forward to more different shows coming through. But we're back to the format whereby I'm explaining a story right now. We've gone through the world news and we've talked about the Canadian news. And we're back to the format that we had before that you enjoyed. And hey, enjoy another one coming soon. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Manchester City and City Football Group. It's a story you need to hear. I won't be on camera. It will be the video style. I'll be on camera the next one. But Manchester City Football Group, I'm going to tell you a story about them. And I'm not too impressed with that. And you'll hear why. But for now, hope you have a great day. Keep it together. Let's go Canada and let's keep it going. And by the way, this is the best time to be a Canadian soccer fan. If you are not a soccer fan for Canada, you need to get into it now. Unbelievable times, guys. Really unbelievable. Okay, take it easy. And at the end of the day, it is unbelievable what we've got, guys. But I tell you, World Cup's coming. And check out the logo. Tell me what you think. Tell me where you think Jonathan David may be going, if he's going anywhere. And at the end of the day, thanks for being there. Cheers, guys. See you next show.
This is Ultimate Soccer with Soccer Steve.